Let me turn my mic on. How about that? Hello, everyone. It is I, Neon Saline, and today we are gonna have an interesting moment today. As soon as I finish dealing with my digital boyfriend. I hope everyone's weekend is beginning well. I am very excited for today. It's my first, yap session, conversation, sort of, chat thing we've got going on here. Basically, over the course of the last month or so, I asked a whole bunch of people, mostly to come through to my Discord, and I made a little thread, and it was just what do you want to know? And it got filled up. So I'm going to be answering all the questions that were put in there, and maybe sneak a couple of questions in from chat if, the lull makes sense and whatnot. But yeah, the music in the background is... I should probably switch to the screen where you can see what the actual message is. And let me just gently adjust the chat window. There we go. And we're going to turn that off. Let's see. Alright, we got that ready. Let's start the spinning. What's our first question? Any advice for people who might be looking to get into the hobby, i.e. playing tabletop RPGs, but haven't yet? Local game stores, if you have a store that generally sells board games and or tabletop RPG books, there will generally be a group. I know a lot of places have a literal built a little board that people put up if they're looking for players. There's also Start Playing, which allows people to be compensated for their time in running these games. There are lots of different Discords, my goodness. Off the top of my head, there's Historically Black Dice, which is specifically for black folks. There might be other folks in there, I don't know. I'm still kind of lurking because they're really cool. And I'm slightly intimidated. But, yeah, they're up on TikTok. Generally, you know, make friends with people. If you have a group of friends and you all want to figure out how to play, pick a game. They usually have quick starts available for really cheap or free, and go for what you know. Like, it's, you know, the spirit of the thing is to have fun, so... Alrighty. Next question! What are some RPGs that you've always wanted to play but haven't yet? Okay. I want to play Daggerheart real bad. Daggerheart, I want to play Bluebeard's Bride. 10 Candles. Other tabletop RPGs. Daggerheart, related Candle Obscura. Like, everything I saw from that whole thing seemed really cool. Hang on, the song whips. Yeah, I would love to play in some sort of sci-fi RPG. Like, I would love to play Cyberpunk. I haven't had a chance to play that yet. Maybe Starfinder or something similar. But yeah, oh, Apocalypse Keys. I love me a good end of the world situation. And I want to play Apocalypse Keys. Next question! So, many of the video games you stream tend to be sci-fi, especially Cyberpunk. Is that also your favorite genre to play in tabletop RPGs? If not, what is? Big secret. I have played maybe a handful of sessions of games in a sci-fi setting. Somebody did like a homebrew system for Mass Effect once that I played in. That's really solidly the only... no, I played Alien RPG and Blade Runner. Okay, yeah, so that was almost the entire lie. I don't know, like... I like things to be fantastical. Like, I love me a good magic moment. I play spellcasters mostly. So I haven't found the sci-fi game that will be like my game in my heart, you know what I mean? But for right now, I don't really have a sci-fi or cyberpunk setting. You know, traditional fantasy. Or like modern set games are probably my favorites. Monster Hearts is up there, pretty big. And then like I've loved every D&D / Pathfinder character I've ever made, so I always have affection for the fantasy of it all. What else we got? Do you have any dice superstitions? No one else can touch them, get the bad rolls out of the way, dice jail. I used to be really superstitious about my dice. I think the only thing I'm, like, picky about now is that, like, I have to have enough to make a dice roll myself. So, I have this whole bag. It is 2/3 the size of my head. And actually, I don't know if all my dice are here. Ah, there they are. Okay. Can you hear me now? Seconds march into the past. Okay. I was answering, just before this question, I answered Light's question about if cyberpunk settings are my favorite settings in tabletop RPGs. And my big secret is that I have only played in 3 like sci-fi settings. Only one of them could really probably be considered cyberpunk. I played the Blade Runner RPG, I played the Aliens RPG, and then way back in the day there was I think it was a homebrew system for Mass Effect, or I think it was like somebody used a different system. But yeah, those are the 3 games I've played in sci-fi settings. So by default, because I have so much more experience in them, I actually prefer modern but fantastical, or like just straight up like high fantasy D&D games. The dice superstitions are I have to have enough dice to do the roll myself. I don't like borrowing dice if I can help it. So I was explaining that in this bag that is 2/3 the size of my big ass head, I have like 6 or 7 sets of traditional D&D dice, and then I have a whole bunch of teeny tiny D6s for playing Powered by the Apocalypse systems that look like this. Also, hello Joker! Thanks for the shout out about my mic. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I used to be really superstitious about my dice, but the not being able to be self-sufficient with my rolls, within reason, is probably the only one I still have. What are some of my experiences as a black and or queer gamer in these spaces as a non-binary gamer? Qualifying statement, this is not to say that there isn't bullshit in these surroundings. But, having also been a lifelong anime fan and a lifelong video game fan, I think of the 3 spheres, the unpleasantness is kind of sequestered to over there. It tends to be Because, like, when you talk about making a story together, when people start seeding in things they want to talk about, they give themselves away real fast. So, like, it is easier to avoid people I don't want to deal with. That said, on the whole, very positive. I get to explore lots of facets of myself and characters I want to explore. I think it's been on the whole pretty good. And that's part of the reason why I decided that I wanted to do more tabletop RPG content, cause it's a thing that's starting to become important to me, like in a particular way. Just had to get some water. All this talking. Any advice for people running games? Run something you think you're gonna like. Like, if you end up running something because it's popular or it's the thing you think people want to play, you're gonna burn out real fast. Take more notes than you think you need, cause the most pernicious lie that everyone tells themselves is, "I'll remember it." No, you won't. I think, also, as far as, like, prep time is golden, especially if you guys have been working towards a momentous event, like a boss fight, or, like, if there's, like, a particularly emotional thing. I think notes are really helpful to kind of keep track of what your players show interest in, so you know what to build towards later. That said, I am lightly infamous in one of my friend circles for not prepping. Like, I'll keep track of things, but I won't necessarily devote a lot of time to, like, prepping, because I realized that, one, they were a group of plot chewers, and two, they like to do dumb shit. So, more than at least 10 minutes of any given session, and we ran long, was devoted to me blue screening because somebody decided to do a thing and I did not know how to respond. Calling for breaks when you don't know how to respond is perfectly fine. Like, your players might kill something early and you go, give me like 10 minutes. One of the coolest things I saw was, somebody had their DM had a little slot on the front of their screen. So whenever they had to look up something or they had to come up with something, they put little pieces of paper, like a video game loading screen with, like, these are the dice for, like, this specific thing. Or whistles inconspicuously. You said it, not me. You know, be creative. You know, there's no shame in admitting that, like, you know, sometimes you don't got it. Don't feel bad if you have to reschedule or otherwise punt a game session. You know, especially if you're all adults, because scheduling is hard. That reminds me, I gotta message a particular group of mine that's playing together. But yeah, you know, have fun with it. I go back to the first thing I said. Run stuff you think you're gonna have fun with that interests you. It makes it easier. Spinny, spinny. Ooh, in your opinion, what is it that makes tabletop RPGs special? I like telling a story with people. Like, you know, most of the people I've known who've played tabletop RPGs for any extended amount of time has, like, that game that they remember. where you guys played together for a while. You got some characters arcs. You've got like moments. You know, there's nothing quite like building to a thing that to happen in a session, together. Um, I think it's really interesting to see how, you know, we're all informed by the media we consume, and we, you know, reflect that in the characters we make and the tropes we like to work with and against. So it's always interesting to see how people interpret or reinterpret, like, stereotypes. I had a warlock, my first warlock that I played. His name was Noble. He was a tiefling. He had a archfey patron, and he was the party face and honeypot. A couple of different villains. He was funny. He was a sweet boy. I say that like he wasn't a grown-ass man, but he ended up, over the course of the game, our DM had another group, and we gave him clearance to have our characters NPC for the other groups. So he ended up getting with one of the other party members, like the other group that was running around in the world. And it was really sweet, because he was kind of a commitment phobe. Because he was, like, parentified, because he was the second oldest out of a group of, like, 9 orphans. That were running together. And he was like, I have to be responsible and also not die so I can send money back to my family. And, like, I would have never predicted his story would have gone that way. Also, I love seeing, like, when people get, like, big hits on die and, like, get to kill stuff, or, like, you know, when they get their highlight moment or scene. I'm a heavy role player, so, like, the little moments in character, just, like, it's all so fascinating. I really like telling stories with people. That's the short version. What was my first tabletop RPG? D&D 3.5. I was in high school. There was a group of seniors that I had invariably become the pet freshman of. We were all the weird kids. And the DM was starting a new game, and I had no idea what to make for my character, so he was like, I'm gonna make you a character. So, he made me one of the races was a homebrew, and she was like an archer. And then I would have fits where I would shapeshift, and my other form was a gnome rogue. We got 2 sessions in, and then my DM moved away. So that was my first taste of D&D. I think my first extended game was actually Vampire the Masquerade LARP. There was a RPG group at the college I went to for a little while. I went there for a little while, not the club existed for a little while. But, there I started playing, like, LARP, because I was like, you could be a vampire. All of, like, 17. And that was hilarious. I'm trying to think. Played a little Exalted. A lot of varied systems. A lot of people played World of Darkness. A friend of mine ran Hunter the Reckoning. have a soft spot for that game still. So basically, I tasted D&D and then immediately jumped to World of Darkness. Those were my first 2 tabletop RPG experiences. In terms of game mechanics, do you prefer crunchy games or more free-form systems? This is highly dependent. Generally, I prefer looser systems. I love me a Powered by the Apocalypse, or like a system that uses one type of die. That said, with the advent of like digital role-playing sites like Roll20 and Foundry and all these other ones, because all of the math is automated, it's easier, so I don't have to, like, do math all the time. Or at least not in a way that, like, distracts me or makes me feel stupid. I think I have been blessed, both blessed and cursed, with my love of Scion, because, the first edition of Scion was made by White Wolf, and one of White Wolf's golden rules is if you don't like it, throw it out. So I was very, like, touch and go with the rules, and I'm a rule of cool GM. So, also I just would do trolly things like give you stat combinations that theoretically don't work on paper. Just to give you an idea of, like, if you ask me to do a dumb thing, I would have it be dumb in response. It's my way of going, are you sure about that? Which led to some really funny moments when people get successes. But the new Sound 2.0 is made by the Onyx Path. And it's still a D10 system, but it's different. And I kind of stare at the rule book kind of going, I don't know how this works. More whistling. I think I want to try and play in more crunchy systems, but I have to like the people I'm playing with, and I have to love the character. Like, I have to be invested on more than the game system itself for me to want to try something crunchy, I think. What do you enjoy more, playing or running? By default, I enjoy playing more. I think, I am challenging some internally held beliefs as far as, I don't think I'm a good GM. Like, I think I'm a good role player's GM, but as far as understanding how systems work and, like, being able to create things the way they're supposed to be, like as the books outline them, and make that rewarding for players, that is my weak spot. And that's the basis of doing this. So, I have always sort of convinced myself that I will say it with the caveat that I don't necessarily think this anymore. But I thought I was too dumb to figure out systems. Like, rolling dice and doing math and adding modifiers, and there's like distance modifiers and all this shit. Like, I don't care. I want to make the dolls kiss. You know what I mean? So there's like this kind of internal narrative that I've been starting to battle now that I am running a game again for the first time in a long time. And I'm starting to interact with more systems. I think as I get more comfortable with running, it's gonna be anybody's game. I think I like them both equally on paper. I think in practice, just out of sheer momentum, I am more of a player preference than running. But you know, I have to crack into some of these RPGs I kickstarted, so you know, that might change soon. Especially like Triangle Agency. Seeing that new Control trailer has got a bug in my brain, and I need to do something. Oh, Mood, I kickstarted so many RPGs, especially a bunch of zines. Yeah, they make it real easy. And now they've made it easier, because you can pay in parts. Uh-oh. Backed a bunch of zines during Zine Quest right before COVID. Oh, wow. I mean, that's lightly fortuitous. You had lots of stuff to do. My most recently played system, I don't know why the question's not there. I think I might have accidentally hit the mouse. What was I think technically the most recent system I played is Masks, which is powered by the Apocalypse, young superhero RPG in the vein of like Young Justice. A lot of them required a being person, like generating a map as a group. Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. Pardon me. Yeah, I think Masks was technically my most recently played. Oh no, that's a lie. D&D. I guessed it on my friend's show. Technically D&D. I think we're using the 2024 rule set? I don't know, man. But D&D is my most recent played tabletop RPG. So, bookends. The first RPG I started with was D&D, and the most recent one is the newest version of D&D, I believe. Opinions on homebrew and house rules. Love them. I adore hacking systems, house rules, homebrew. Especially, like, some of the best house rules come up by accident. Or just because, like, sometimes they start as in-jokes and they just get canonized that way. A thing I did for a Scion game, which I think I might do for the 2 players I'm running for now, and might just keep as a thing, I gave each of the Scions their own, like, divine power that was influenced by who they were as a person. We're still in early hours of the Scion game I'm running for 2 friends of mine. So I think I am going to write them their own powers. But also, homebrew is always good because it's always cool to have more stuff. There's like, people are kickstarting like full books that are just like homebrew errata for like, there was one that had like, it's a book and it's nothing but magical tattoos. Resolving roles in Scion, rock, paper, scissors. Listen. I was tired and everybody, yeah, tons of 5e supplements too. But yeah, the rock, paper, scissors resolving in Scion was born because of exhaustion, and I think we didn't have enough dice for everybody, so I was just like, fuck it. It worked. Probably wouldn't do that again, though. Do I have any recommendations or shoutouts for lesser known creators? Oh, good. So I'm going to do a lot of shout outs at once, and they're mostly people I've played with or worked with in like the last 2 years. So the first person is Wes. Wesselhausen is like the first person who put me on an actual play. Like, we did a trans rights thing back in 2021. And it was a multi-day thing. We played Glitter Hearts, D&D, and then I was also a panelist. And they are super cool. What do you mean? Why are you not doing that correctly? Hello? You do not... That's not who I wanted you to shout out! Am I to do this manually? You gotta be kidding me. Fine. Anyway. Hold up. Am I not spelling his... I am displeased with this. Hold up. I have to find... Am I not... No, I got it. He's still on. He's on somewhere. I have access to this username. This is like pissing me off. Okay. Activity. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay. I was spelling it phonetically. Brain, please, thank you. There we go. Okay. I was about to be upsetting spaghetti, but we did it. But Wes, gotta shout him out. He's pretty great. Also, we're gonna shout out Radio Free Will, who is another person who has been out here. Let me make sure I do that name right, because I know his Twitch thing is different. Is Radio Free Will? No. I know there's an underscore in it somewhere. Hey, if I was a good streamer, I probably would have, like, you know, done something like... Who knows? Made, like, buttons for, There we go. Okay, I found it. I remembered where the underscore is. Radio if you will. Prime Exalted Glazer. And I mean that in the greatest way possible. He talks a lot about unknown systems, his experience with like tabletop RPGs and board games. Had a couple shows. I was on 2 of them. Speak of the devil. Hey, well, I was asked if, you know, I wanted to shout anybody out as far as the tabletop RPG space. and I shouted out my buddy Wes Housen, and then I was talking about you, because you had me on some shows and graciously allowed me to play with other folks. And then there's Vixie Bell and the folks over at Pocket Dragon Pub, which I will also shout out. Am I doing this right? Here goes. I'm like double checking everyone's name because I struggled for like 3 minutes trying to find Wells House and stuff. Is it Pocket Dragon Pub or the Pocket Dragon Pub? They had me on for their Roll for Wishes, I believe, was the series of events that we were on. Oh no, it was the indie games. No, I was on Roll for Wishes too. Oh my god. My brain is full of soup. It's the Pocket Dragons Pub. Okay. But, played some wonderful games. There's, Spin the Horse. Spin the Wheel? Spin the Wheel? My brain keeps saying Spin the Horse. It's Spin the Wheel. Which is a great, like, tarot-inspired kind of game where you generate the world with cards and then you make your characters with those same cards and you trade them to do different things as the story goes on. That was really fun. I can't remember the name of the other game we played, but basically it was kind of like Grimdark Dune, where you play magic users. Gosh. Well, I play a magic user. But, hang on. I had to look up the name of that game. Huh! Okay, I can't find the name of the game. Noctis Labyrinth! There you go, I lied. I found it. Yeah, Noctis Labyrinth was sensational. We're also gonna shout out let me see if I can get his handle right on the first try. I'm not getting anyone. This is why I'm doing this in another browser, so you don't see me failing at this. Now, hold on. There's also Jack, my buddy Jack, who was on Godkiller Chrismat, which is an excellent, like, actual play series for Godkiller, and, like, just watch it. Like, it's really interesting. I love it to death. It's super good, but I need to make sure that I spell Jack's name right, because his handle is different than what I think it is, and I mess it up every time I try and link him to something. Credits. Okay. There we go. I found it. I should just make buttons in the future and be smart about this, you know? Extremely scuffed stream, I'm so sorry. Alright, There we go. Jack, I've had the pleasure of playing with a little while back. We played in a Pathfinder game, which was sensational. Still getting to know a whole bunch of folks. Let's see if I can. Does Historically Black Dice have a Twitter? Or not Twitter, but Twitch. I know platforms. Nope. Is Black Dice? Nope. Okay, they don't have a Twitch. But yeah, shout out to Historically Black Dice. Cause I love them. Cause anytime we see one of the people being like, I want to play tabletop RPGs, but I don't know where to start, they appear and are like, listen, we got a whole Discord, you should come. And they are amazingly supportive and wonderful community. I highly recommend them. Also, I just heard about APOC Unlimited recently. I've seen a little bit of their stuff, and everybody I've seen on there is fantastic. I am personally going to put the Historically Black Dice link tree in the chat, since they don't have a Twitch. These folks are pretty cool. Yeah. So that's, I think, all of the shoutouts my brain has right now. Yeah. Let me see if I can get APOC Unlimited. And then shout out Apochromatic Unlimited. There we go. That's everyone I could think of off the top of my head. There are probably more people. Ask me again when I'm not trying to flounder and think of it. Or maybe before the year is out, I should start doing like just people recommending stuff. Wait. I met Spuggy Taylor, she's nice. Yeah. Alright, any other recommendations or shoutouts for listener creators? Just did that. Let's roll it! How do you feel about the conversions of tabletop RPG systems to LARPs? I'm gonna say the one that I'm most familiar with, which is Vampire the Masquerade. It works. I played in a Changeling the Dreaming LARP. But by and whole, I think so many, like, different LARP systems have their own thing going on. I think it's, in order to move from, like, tabletop to LARP, you have to streamline a lot of stuff. Because, you know, people are actively embodying their characters, so you don't want to, like, you can have a character sheet, but, like, you don't want to sit there and have to add, like, 6 modifiers whenever you want to do combat. So, I think it can be done well, but on the whole, you could just make a new system for it. Who's your favorite professional GM and why? So that's an interesting question. I don't have one. I don't really interact with a lot of the actual play shows. The long ones the big ones that everyone knows. Partly because, like, that's like a couple hours worth of time that I gotta sit down for, and I don't have the brain space for that. Every time Crit Role has a new season, I threaten to join up. I theoretically could go back and rewatch to catch up on the new season, but I don't have enough experience with all of them to be able to call someone my favorite. There was a mini event that Crit Role had that had a whole bunch of people. Brennan Lee Mulligan was the storyteller, and it was I'm not gonna say that correct right now. I can see it spelled in my brain, and Abubakar Salim. I'm like remembering everybody's faces and no one else's name. But they did like I think it was a 3 or 4 episode mini series for like the events that happened like way back in the way back. That was great. I will say, from what I've seen, I really like Brennan's. There's a thing he was describing in the mini event where the world is falling apart around them as they're trying to stop things. I'm being vague just in case anybody wants to actually watch it. And he's describing like the landscape being destroyed. And every now and again he will just toss out that like people are dying. Like, and it's that blink and you miss it. Like the closest thing I can think of that replicates how I felt when I heard the sentence was in Chainsaw Man. There is a devil known as the Gun Devil. And in the manga, when the Gun Devil attacks, you see the aftermath, and it's just the names and ages for like, I think it's like 6 pages, and it's just name, age, in the background, so you're trying to process all of it at once, and I, like, yeah, because that's how it is. Like, Mulligan's really good at those gut punch lines. Yeah. I think I like Abria's sense of Abria Angar. I hope I said her last name correctly. She has this sense for drama and like raising stakes interpersonally, or like really driving across the emotional stakes of things, not just interpersonally, but in the situation you're dealing with around you. I have nothing about Mercer, cause like I watched like the first 20 episodes of the first season because I was like, I want to catch up. But I couldn't stand one of the players who eventually ended up leaving, so I couldn't hack it and I stopped watching. So, a lot of it was, also, I'm not necessarily watching for the GM sometimes. I'm watching for the players, honestly, if I'm gonna be real. Um, the Adventure Zone, we're gonna bring up, Griffin McElroy real quick. He has, like, that family is goofy as fuck. I love all of them. He will turn a phrase and have you in tears. Like, when people leave your life, those exits are not equal. What do you mean? Your 30 under 30 luminary Griffin, your sweet baby's brother, Griffin McElroy. When people depart from when people leave your life, those departures are not equal. Oh! Like, and he just does that. Like, he is the continuing trend of the funniest person you know will say something that will break your heart. Like that. Oh my god. Like, but yeah, I think I will probably go back and watch when Mercer GM's a thing. To see what I like about his stuff. But honestly, it's not coming up in my brain right now. What are some things you'd like to see in the culture, events that would encourage inclusiveness and address missing stair problems? Ooh, spicy question. People in the tabletop RPGs place have two things. We have people who like to play with their friends, and people who like to make productions. Sometimes they do both at the same time. I'm not gonna clock anybody for wanting to play with their friends. And this is from all the way up top to just, somebody randomly running one-shots on their Twitch. If you are making a production, you should endeavor to find new people, just so, people don't get too parasocially attached to the folks on your show. The elephant in the room called Crit Roll in the back there has the special problem of being fronted by a bunch of actors who had fan bases before they made the show. So the parasociality and the weirdness that comes with their fandom in specific has an entire different set of commentary that I'm not necessarily going to get into. Because I have also, personally, been following most of those actors when they were just doing Liam's birthday game. I remember that Instagram post. So, I was here before the house was built. You know what I mean? That said, it is fine if you just want to stream the games that you and your friends play. If you want... Hey, extra! I think a thing in the culture is people need to play more games with different people. Here's the hottest take of all. I think with this wave of conservatism and censorship that keeps beating at our door and has been leaking in the gaps under the floor, everyone's gonna need to get real cool with a bunch of shit real fast. And when I say get real cool, I mean develop the ability to mind your own goddamn business about it. Not every piece of media is for you. Not every game is for you. Not every table is for you. There are going to be content and things discussed in games that will make you uncomfortable, that will make the players uncomfortable, that will make the GM uncomfortable. But we have tools to discuss and react to those things like goddamn adults. Like, use content warnings, use safety tools. Speaking of, do you know what's in Fabula Ultima free quick start adventure? No, what's up? But yeah, like, I got a message. Jellyfish lines! Okay, I've been on an actual flight with a friend of mine, Jellyfish Lines, Irving. He writes about things. We have, there was a show called Playback Static, that I was on, that I will hopefully be on in the new year. We're trying to figure out scheduling and reboot the thing. But, there is a game we're working on that is a horror game that is loosely based on not Monster Hearts, but like, it is a fantasy game where bad things happen for a lot of reasons. And one of the main plot characters is explicitly non-binary, and the GM notes mandate that you have to hand this character out, and if anyone's uncomfortable with this, they're not someone you want to play with and act accordingly. Oh... That's... but I just... So, the first spicy pepper is I need everybody to fucking put on their big gold panties. And just, accept that, people are going to want to play and interact with topics that will make you uncomfortable. I want to play in Bluebeard's Bride, which is a game where you're playing the facets of the personality of Bluebeard, historically known murderer of women, or fairy tale murderer of women. You're playing, all of you at the table are different facets of this woman's personality. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. Like, that talks about a lot of uncomfortable stuff. That talks about DV and coercion and all kinds of things. I want to play that game real bad. Because you know what? Sometimes exploring stuff in fiction, the lead dev of the game is a treasure, sorry to derail, but I appreciate setting a certain decency floor, and yeah, that game's spicy as fuck. I want more devs to come out and be like, this is the line, and if you can't hold to that, maybe you don't need to be doing this. But, no, that's all of it. Just in the larger culture overall, I derailed myself from the earlier thing, which is, I don't care if you want to make a show with your friends. I care if you want to get a bug up your butt about, I've seen this happen. People will get very mad about, the large shows, particularly Crit Role and Dimension 20, about having the same people on over and over again and lack of diversity of casts, and then go on to make their own shows and do not have any diversity in their casts. And only play with their friends. No. You can fuck all the way off with that. Just, if you're gonna talk shit about it, be about it. That said, because of everyone being bored in the house and they're in the house bored, a lot of people who do not know nerdy social mores flock to nerdy things, and now a lot of our, problems are coming from people who don't know how to act in spaces. Also, just COVID killed a lot of our ability to socialize in a very particular way, and I don't like it. Um, I think, you know, it's that problem of like the distance between seeing the characters and the work that people have allows you to put them on a pedestal or lionize or whatever you want to call it. But it allows you to kind of enshrine them in this little bubble. And I would just like to remind everyone that you make badass characters. You can make cool characters. You can make interesting or funny or, you know, on the other hand, vile, awful, terrible people. But you contain multitudes, so there's no reason why these people who are doing this for a living don't also contain those same multitudes. There is a particular individual who had a scandal that I kind of just glanced across in orbit. And like when stuff came out about them, I was like, oh fuck. Because, you know, they seem normal. They always do. But it's a reminder, like, we wouldn't have missing stairs if people weren't too busy looking at the top of the stairs and not the way you get up them. You know? One more example of games trying to encourage the mindset and gently or not so gently shooing away the people it's not for. Go for it. We'll spin the roulette while you're giving the next example. Cyborg's Rule 0 is the one rule you shouldn't break. Player characters cannot be loyal to or have sympathy for the corpse, cops, or the capitalist system. They might find themselves reluctantly forced to do missions for them or their minions, but make no mistake, they are the enemy. Ooh. I've seen a few of those. Thirsty Sword, Lesbians, and I Hunt does too. Nice. What's your favorite game or system? My favorite game is the old version of Scion. I don't know if any of them are here, but I have a particular section of my friend group that I... Oh, nice. Monty Python, gotta love it. The thing about Scion, is, it was the first tabletop game that I latched onto personally. To the degree that a whole bunch of friends of mine that play it now just play it because I harangued them for like 3 months straight of like, we should play this game, 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 we should play this game. Like, is Arya here? Arya, you in here? But, I think favorite system overall. I love that game so much, but streaming it would be impossible. It's a cultural minefield. I mean... I don't think anyone should stream it that doesn't feel comfortable with doing it, but I feel like there's a way for it to be done. I think my favorite system is probably the Powered by Apocalypse. I love a strong 2d6 plus stat. It's real easy for my brain to grasp. It would take a hell of a session 0. Yeah. Like, I would maybe do a test series of one-shots. Like, the base missions. Like, the base mission or, like, the party getting together off-stream to kind of feel out the tenor and things like that. So, 1, I know what to warn for. But 2, just kind of to calibrate what level of blasphemous we're gonna be at. Because, like, there's no getting around, you know, that a lot of the gods depicted in Scion are still currently worshipped today. But if people can be careful in the way they depict Christianity, I think that, you know, or, you know, Judaism or any other currently followed religion in a way that a lot of polytheists are not recognized as. Like, hell of a sensitivity reader. Let's see. Okay, I appreciate the cutoff on that. Just are you a dice hoe? No, I'm not. But I do have a lot of dice. A dice hoarder or a specific sets for specific characters or a dice borrower. I am a specific set for specific people. Some of the characters I don't actually remember who they're for, which is weird. I usually hang on to characters better than that. Oh, these are the dice for, I had a changeling bard. Her name was Cord. And then there was a dragonborn back in the day that I wanted to play. I think it was a dragonborn that had this kind of thing going on. Oh no, that's not it. That's still that same original set. There we go. That had this kind of thing going on. And then I had Mouse, who had this. Mouse was my half-elfin fighter. She had emptiness syndrome, so she became an adventurer. I love her so much. I would love to play her again, actually. That's the gay dice. Those are magic spin downs. Those should not be in the dice bag. Ooh, is that the Thrones of Eldraine one? That one's so pretty. I'm glad I found that. I thought I lost it. And then, a dear friend of mine, Jen, different Jen. I know there's a couple folks that follow me, but she got me a bunch of metal D20s. But yeah, I'm a specific sets for specific characters. Oh, we're getting down to the bottom of the list. Looking back at your characters, all or perhaps just this year, what do they have in common? Okay, so specific sets, specific characters, person. I have a set of metal dice for an artificer of mine. Nice. I dig it. So I kind of make kind of 3 molds of like characters. One of which I haven't done in a while. which I really want to do. So the main two are Lovable Dickhead and You Don't Want Me the Way I Used to Be. I would classify my Changeling Bard, probably Noble, who is my Changeling Warlock. They're both Changeling. Not Changelings, Tieflings. So they all have pretty strong, like, worldviews. Like, they kind of very pointedly look at the way world a particular way. I think the commonality is the way love changes them. And it doesn't really matter what kind of love. I say that, like Mouse. Mouse was a fighter. She, basically what happened with Mouse is that, in Pathfinder 2, the elves are a little weird. So she's half Feywild elf, specifically. And her dad was a bard who was actually, like, really serious, and he was, like, basically lore college. I know I'm mixing, like, systems to explain this, but whatever. But he ended up in the Feywild and fell in love with Farian's mom. Farian is Mouse's given name. And he wrote her a sonnet comparing her to facets of a jewel that she had that was, like, her prized possession. So they had, like, a thing going on, but he managed to get out of the Feywild, and then an indeterminate amount of time later, I think about a year and a half, the elf comes back and is like, here's your kid. And he's like, what? Not in a bad way, but just, she's like, this child is half human. They are ill-equipped to live where we live. Here's your kid. So he's, like, retired and they have a farm, and so she, you know, Farian grows up and she's, like, this little country girl. And this group of adventurers rolls into town when she's, like, 18 or 19. And there's, like, a whole bunch of them. And the party's necromancer. Like, the party's wizard, who turned out to be a necromancer, ends up just, like, clocking her and just like, I want you. And she's like, yeah, alright, fine. But he eventually wins her over. And, they end up having 2 kids together. And he ends up passing, his name was Marlowe, I believe. Marlowe ends up passing because the necromantic magic in his system has been sapping his life force. So he passes away. The kids are like 19, 20-ish. They're twins. One is studying magic, and the other, who lacks magical talent, has become a pirate and is traveling with one of her uncles, who is one of the members of Marlowe's venturing party. So Farian is like, I don't know what to do. Like, everyone I love is left. So one of her friends, instead of venturing party of her husband's, is like, I mean, if you want, it sounds wild, like, adventuring is allegedly a young man's game, but if you're down, I'll come with you. So Farian learns how to become a sword and board fighter, and she ends up just like contracting out to work with folk. But I think part of her journey, the impetus was like, I cannot let the love I have tether me to this place. Like, my family would not want me to languish here without them. Another character of mine who is kind of very molded by love. Classic redemption story. I was in an actual play that did what is it? It dealt with like the Underdark and stuff like that. But it was one of the Critical Role like supplements for D&D, and I played a paladin of the Everlight. When I would introduce her, I would say, try the Everlight, not me. Aseneth was an Aasimar, who, was a sellsword who took jobs for the highest bidder, which usually meant assassination work. Her codename was Albatross. But she ends up being contracted by the place called the Plain Touched Enclave, which was a basically hidden sanctuary for Aasimar and Tieflings, especially those who like manifested physical mutations that like they couldn't tolerate, like that were not very well accepted. So, working for the Plains Touch Enclave, Aseneth met her wife, Promise. Promise was a pink tiefling who was a cleric of the Everlight, and at first, Aseneth was not about this religion shit, but she did see the necessity of the Enclave. So she more and more directly worked for them. And because of that, she kept interacting with Promise. Aseneth is very gay. And basically saw this adorable pink tiefling woman taking care of people and, like, you know, inquiring after her and, like, basically doing the, you know, there's a path to redemption for all of us. And at first, Aseneth was like, I'm not sorry about anything you did. And it was just like, you don't need to be. Like, oh. So they had a whole bunch of conversations that ultimately led to Aseneth converting. She became a follower of the Everlight, and because she believed in protecting the people of the Enclave, she ended up becoming a paladin. She and Promise got married, everything was sweet for a while, and then Asmodeus's, like, basically blood curse on all the tieflings was like, hey, listen, you, at Promise. So, Promise went on a pilgrimage to go to each of the, sanctuaries of the Everlight, to do as much work as she could before the worst end came. And Aseneth became an adventurer to follow her wife's path on her pilgrimage to try and see if she could find her again before it was too late. Roshan, my Dragonborn monk, my poor baby, was raised in a monastery, also shaped by love. Platonic? Question mark? Spoiler alert, she's real gay. She's very gay for her best friend. to the degree that people regularly confuse them for girlfriends. But she went on. So basically, Roshan grew up in a monastery with her best friend Tiare, and because of the way the monastery works, they basically had to test out to be able to leave in a specific role. Tiare tested out to be a diplomat, so she was the emissary, so she went out, not necessarily proselytizing or anything, but, you know. Roshan tested to be what was euphemistically known as a calligrapher, and they function as bodyguards to the emissaries. Because their martial art is circular and based on writing, like the writing style the monastery was founded on. So she tested out and was like, I'm gonna find my friend, and then figured out very quickly that her friend was kidnapped by a trafficking organization. I don't know what to call them. They were bad guys. We then spent the first, solid chunk of our chronicle chasing down leads to find her, and we ended up going through what was basically a chop shop of magical creatures. And when I say that my kid Roshan was this close, that close, it was bad. The other player had to use Charm Person on me to get me to calm the fuck down. Because, I was, Roshan was going through it. She spontaneously manifested random bloodlusts. If someone took too much damage around her, I would have to roll for her to keep composure for her to not attack them viciously. Or something to that effect. But yeah, so, we go through this chop shop and there's blood everywhere, and she's just like, I can't find my friend. But it was fine. We found her. Everything's cool. A whole bunch of shit happened. But yeah, my characters are all transformed by love. In various ways. That was long-winded. I'm not sorry. Are there any systems you just don't vibe with? I only play D&D and Pathfinder because we have websites that automate that shit for you now. Once I saw the glory of a single dice system, I ran. I very much, maybe I'll feel better about it, I'm very much the table, and my character has to have a chokehold on me for me to tolerate things I don't really like. But I had so much trouble with Pathfinder specifically because it was it felt like it was trying to do D&D different, but not in a fun way. It felt too crunchy. I know apparently, if I'm remembering this correctly, Pathfinder was based on 3.5 because a whole bunch of people were mad about Dungeons and Dragons 4.0 or whatever it is. I get that I'm still pretty traumatized from my days in D&D 3.5. Yeah, it's just so much all the time. And I'm just like, ugh. 2E fixed a lot. Okay. So I think that's one of them. I think that's maybe the only one. Huh, pardon me. I have liked almost all the other systems that I have. Funnily enough, hate Pathfinder, love Starfinder. I want to play Starfinder! I want to play in an actual chronicle in a sci-fi setting and not just one-shots or a story path. I want to make my own character and do space bullshit. I almost got to do it once in the Star Wars game, and I was mad because it ended up like failing after the first session. I was playing a Force Inherit who inherited her smuggler cousin's ship after he died in like some horrible bullshit. So like, she was so much fun. But yeah, it's really just Pathfinder. Getting down to the wire. Are you for or against the mainstreamification of TTRPGs? For with a gigantic caveat, and I said it earlier. I need people to get a lot cooler with a lot of shit real fast. Like, it's like kind of with like the whole thing about like dubious content in like books or TV shows or movies. This shouldn't be in there. No one told you had to watch it. Like, no one told you that you had to play it. Like, I get FOMO. Like, you see all your friends talking about this thing, and, you know, you want to participate, but you're kind of put off by part of it. Or, you know, you just want to be a hater. Okay. At least be honest about wanting to be a hater. Don't fucking hide it behind moralizing and trying to be better than other people, you know what I mean? But, yes, mainstreamification means more people play. More people play means more people get inspired to create things. More people inspired to create things makes more games. Makes more games, we can play more shit, so more people play. And it makes this beautiful feedback loop. Yeah. Sips hatery. Is there a difference in your experience in tabletop RPG space versus other nerd spaces? Video games, anime, comics. Yeah. I think because people are so used to creating their own content, for lack of a better way to say it, there is a lot less clenching in general about people doing it correctly. There is still a particular swath of them kind of people who are surprised that anyone not a white dude does this shit. But I'm gonna be so real. We've always been here, and also, maybe the reason why you don't know anybody who's not a white dude is because you're fucking insufferable and we don't want to be around you. But that's like a problem in nerd spaces in general. Like, I remember somebody having this excellent, very, very prescient point of, the fight between, like, jocks and nerds is the fight between the warrior king and the philosopher king. They're two versions of the same problem, which is why the nerds also are a bunch of dickheads sometimes. Because it's not that they want the system to be different, they just want to be on top of it. Okay, thanks for stopping by, I appreciate it. We're gonna shout out Will one more time. But yeah, I think that said, people are less weird about, like, experimentation in TRPG space because you're making your own characters and they're all interacting. It is, with some very limited exceptions, the least vicious of all of my hobbies, as far as, like, the bad elements and their, pardon me, severity. Like, if I had to rank it in, like, toxicity threshold, TTRPGs, video games, anime, specifically Star Wars, comics, and at the top, like the tippy top, cosplayers specifically. Like, I am lucky in that I know so many cool cosplayers, but when I tell you that, ooh, the folks who don't know how, that have no home training and don't know how to act that are cosplayers, whew, be making me rethink this shit. But yeah, that's my general experience. I think folks in the tabletop RPG space, like, they either have that one game they play, or they're willing to try and play a whole bunch of stuff. So, you know, if you could pitch it right, you can get anybody who's a TTRPG person to play just about anything at least once. If not because of the content itself, then because they like the people they play with. 4 questions left. Folks in chat, I still want to go for a little bit. I might take a break and get some more water or a snack. But if y'all have anything that you're curious about, please sound off. Question 4. What usually comes to you first when creating a character? It works in, like, snapshots and moments, basically. It's usually visual. I usually want to run off of some kind of aesthetic or a particular weapon. Or, like, I want to do this vibe. A really good example of that was, I made a character for a Masks campaign who was basically a reformed villain. And, like, her whole energy was like, what if the visual inspiration for her was like, what if the mobster bad guy, like the organized crime villain's girlfriend, was actually the one, like, visually, was the one you needed to worry about. I tend to go vibe, specific appearance, actual class, name. Or no, name, actual class. They are people before I figure out what they do, which can be frustrating sometimes because, what do you mean I can't multi-class at level 5? Like, I promise, can we start at, like, level 10 so I can actually have some established, like, skills for my stuff that's in my backstory? But yeah, the through line is, like, vibes to final form. Why didn't it remove it? How do I feel about IP games? Officially licensed games, port systems like Avatar Legends, One Ring, Fantasy Flight, Star Wars games, Dragon Age, Tabletop RPG, etc. I like them until the licenses expire. And then you can't halfway find none of that shit. It's so annoying. Ugh. Like, I know they can't license things out for forever and things like that, and, like, games die all the time, but come on, man. Good answer. Like, I love, like, you know, getting expansions on a world and figuring out, like, you know, you can sit down and be like, okay, who's my little blorbo in this world that I love? But then, like, the license expires, and then it disappears, it gets pulled off the shelves, and then you can't play it anymore, because you can't find the PDFs. That said, a friend of mine is, potentially running a licensed game. Not on stream, it's just a home game. And I'm excited for that. Is there a specific type of... I already answered this. Specific character themes, conflicts you keep exploring. How love changes us, and rigidity of worldview. Ooh, what advice would you give to someone trying to get more comfortable with RP at a table or call? Okay. We're gonna sidebar that because I think I answered one of these anyway. But yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to answer this. Because like it's a thing you have to practice, you know? Some people are naturally kind of driven towards it, and some people have to really work at it. But I think part of it comes down to considering why your characters may have the stats they do and going from there. Like, we love a good, like, read on, you know, characters informed by high charisma, low wisdom, or low intelligence. And, you know, like, you don't necessarily have to invent, like, these big grand, like, stories and individuals with, like, 20 pages of you gotta hit level 7 friendship to get my tragic backstory. I do that because I've been writing fanfiction since I was 12. Like, but just, like, I think someone trying to get more comfortable with RP, one, just take little steps. Like, you know, kind of start shallowly and, like, ask simple questions or, like, simple, quick moments of, like, establishing your character's, like, demeanor or temperament. Like, if you want to, like, say if you're playing, like, here's a good example. In my mind, in Lord of the Rings, when you see Aragorn in the corner back there, Strider, and he's just watching what's happening, that's, like, a really good, simple RP moment. Because you can flag that you are, like, interested in interacting with another character, but also that you want to, you know, show that you have reasons to be cautious. Why are you cautious? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out later. Like, seeding moments to go to other moments is pretty good. But it could be as simple as, like, you walk in the room, somebody says something slick to your party mate, so you just stare at him hard. Like, I frown at him. Like, and as you get used to establishing your character's reactions to things, or, like, conversations you can have with party members, a good we're on watch together is an excellent opportunity for, like, individual, like, RP, like, one-on-one, where you can talk without necessarily being bothered with having to worry about what the rest of the party members gonna think. What we're, like, in a fight. I can't think of something to say. I think getting people to stay in character with you when the focus shifts away is enormously awesome. Yeah. Like, and then as you practice, you know, you can pull off really interesting things. I have heard tell but not seen it in action yet where somebody got to do the I am not left-handed. in like a in-game like fight, which was wild conceptually. Like that's a lot of work. Um, but I think take it slow. You don't have to have a line for everything at all times. It doesn't have to be big or flashy. Like a simple conversation does wonders. Even if it's just as simple as like, you know, and like you can even state like in character, like I want to do this because X. Like, say if your party members like you're traveling, you can be like, I want to stay by such and such because I noticed they were injured, and I'm worried about them. But yeah, that was a good question. Thank you, Joker. I answered this. It spins even if it's the last question. Um, do you know any good methods or resources looking for places to play or folks to play with? I think I answered this at the beginning of the stream and didn't remove it from the question pile. So again, local game stores, if they sell like both board games and tabletop RPGs books and they have space to play, will generally have like a little bulletin board or a Discord where you can be like, I'm looking for people to play with. Um, Start playing if you don't mind financially investing is pretty good. Um, Sometimes if you just follow people online that are really into tabletop RPG stuff and you're like, hey, I want to get into this but I don't know where to start, they will throw things at you. um, if you have a group of friends and none of y'all know what you're doing, but you all know that you want to play D&D, get a quick start. Um, they generally are very cheap and or free. Um, uh, if you have anyone that you know that's particularly good at acquisitions, I'm sure you can get the base book for cheap. Um, that's all the questions. But yeah, I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll be back. So if you guys have any other things that you want to pick my brain about in relating to tabletop RPGs or LARPing or anything in that milieu, then you know, we'll talk about it when I get back. Hello, I'm back. So, what do you... Please clip that. Oh, my chest hurts. Oh my god. You can't write that. Holy shit. Alright, I hope this entire thing has been interesting and edifying for everyone who came through and participated. Any questions? Oh, let's see. Did any other questions enter the Discord while I was gone? I'm back. You didn't have to put the ooh on it. Can't believe you. I was laughing at the Megalovania pop. But yeah. Yes, I did. Don't yell at me. Damn, that was fast. I was gonna get a little silly with it and be like, I'm gonna play the new Numbers Go Up game that I've been fixating on my iPad. But, change my category and whatnot. And, like, you know, if anybody thinks of another question while I'm here, let me know. Boo, 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 boo. Specific window. So we're here now, together. We're gonna change the category. Alright, mission complete. You know, if you guys come up with anything else, feel free to let me know. Please. Let's get the beacon open real quick so I can control the volume of this music. And we're gonna move you over slightly. Hello? Oh, goddamn. It's doing that thing, son of a bitch. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's as quiet as it gets. Okay. So, this is Vampire Survivors. It's a game that's a love letter to Castlevania. Except for it's also bullet hell. And it's a number go up game. Currently getting my ass beat by a bunch of bats. But yeah, I think tabletop RPGs are in an interesting space right now. I'm in an interesting space in my life where I think I just want to start doing more stuff with tabletop RPGs. I have always been a video game girly. I'm always gonna be a video game girly, but you know, I have a large swath of my life that, like, has been influenced and changed by, like, pretendy fun times with people in fictional characters and fictional settings. Figs. I didn't get any money out of that. This is stupid. There we go. Alright, 2 magic wands, now we're cooking with gas. I have ridiculous amounts of stuff in this game on the iPad. Like, I've unlocked like half of the characters. Yes. It does have literal Castlevania DLC, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, hey. Another whip. I wonder what system would be good for, like, a Castlevania RPG, you know? feel like Castlevania might be better suited for, like, a board game. Because, like, there's the vibe of Castlevania, and then there's, what you actually do in Castlevania. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, fuck. No, 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 no. Reflavor Curse of Strahd? Maybe. Give me that. Purple box! So the purple boxes have 3 upgrades, and then there's like a orange-yellow box that has 5 upgrades. That's the best. Just got back. What are we playing? We are currently playing Vampire Survivor, and if you have any more tabletop RPG questions, fire them at me, and I'll try and answer while I try not to die in this game. You see, I've done the light version of that, of the TTRPG Yap session. I'm going to make it more difficult. I was also conjecturing about how one would make Castlevania a tabletop RPG, because I feel like there's a difference between the vibe of Castlevania and what you actually do in Castlevania. So, like, you know. I feel like it's more better facilitated by, like, a card game or a board game. Divergence between tone and mechanics. Yup, yup, yup. More Santa water. You know what I wish the Santa water did? I wish it healed you if you stayed in the freaking area. Cause, like, you're fighting a bunch of undead shit. So, like, clearly the thing that hurts them should be healing you. I make sense. No, Yay! I'm out. Give me floor chicken. Please. I don't want to die. Floor chicken. Yep, like wall chicken, but floor chicken. They have a lot of legally distinct Castlevania shenanigans in this game. Floor chicken! Chomp chomp. I love that. Like some of the monsters you'll see and you're like, I recognize that one, and I recognize that one. Ooh. Don't know how I made it through there, but I'll take it. Ah, legally distinct differences. Like, this dude is clearly palette swap Swiman. Like... Oh! Darn it. At least I got a bunch of money. Oh, and I got the level 10. Hell yeah. Power up time. That is expensive. My girl Imelda. Also, there's a level I'm going to get to. I'm not getting to it tonight. But, like... I thought I broke my iPad because this level's so weird. I think it's one of the bonus levels, honestly. Also, this game has Balatro DLC. Floor chicken. So I think now I haven't watched it in entirely. I've seen the music videos and like heard the music from it and seen like clips. And I think it would be interesting to play a game in the world of Arcane. Like, if we gotta file some serial numbers off, I feel like that is a worthwhile thing to go after. PC version? Yep. It was like $4. Yeah. Okay, so like literally, I care about everything outside of League of Legends proper. Like, I played League for a little bit. I occasionally reinstall it to play with one particular friend of mine. But, like, I generally... 5 upgrades. Okay. So much stuff. Thank you, dead bat. And I'm about to die! So how does, like, the co-op work? Does it, like, balance between us? Or can you just come in super overpowered and just carry me along? Kill everything, move file, move file, You alternate level ups. Oh, interesting. Your weapon max is split between the two of you. Oh. Interesting. But you can revive each other in a pinch. That makes sense. They look like flying butter knives. I'm so sorry. Like, I assume the visual is of knives getting stronger, but, like, they look like flying butter knives. They look like flying Cutco knives. Actually, let me be real clear. I think the worst thing about Cutco is that those knives are actually, like, they weren't bad for how cheap they were. I cut the shit out of myself a couple times on those damn knives. Like, we're here now, I'm rambling about whatever. But, I think, what else would I be interested in playing? 10 Candles I want to play, which, like, the description is not coming to me right now, but it's facilitated by having 10 candles. Thus the name of the game. I saw them at PAX U this year, and it was so funny, because they actually had, like, tea light candles they were selling for the game that had, like, different scents. And the way he described it to me, the guy running the booth was like, people were like, why don't you do this? And then their products department was like, why don't we do this? So they made the candles. Also, I need to play it again, but there is an absolutely devastating game called The Time We Have, in which you have a bunch of cards that are prompts for being in the zombie apocalypse, and you play two brothers, one of you is infected, and it is the last 6 days of your brother's life. Theoretically. You could have what happened in our game happen in your game, and end up, like, the turning happening on, like, day 3. By accident. But I want to play it again, and I want to see if I end up actually crying, because I got close. My Nana whooped my ass, I feel like. But there's something to be said about the cultures we were raised in, because I see all these monsters coming at me, and I'm just like, Jesus, be offense all around me every day. um, now my nana has a sense of humor. My grandmother would whoop my ass. The holy water air starts is taking me out. Also, a really fun board game that understands the spirit of what it should be is that they made a Worms board game, and it is just as chaotic as you would think a Worms game should be. Like, it was fantastic. If I ever move back somewhere with, like, other humans, I would love to play it and buy it. Give yourself a good place, damn it. Yeah. I got money. Yeah. What I need to find is health. What you need to learn is some morals and values. Ooh, fire! God damn it. Shit. Swarm of bats! Okay. Alright, what can we upgrade? Let's do armor. Or might. Yeah, Imelda's my main, so what we're gonna be playing is her for the rest of the time I'm on. Other games I would like to play. There's so many games. I want to play in a full-on Glitter Hearts campaign. Glitter Hearts would be fun. Yeah. I know I played a little bit of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I would love to play more of it. I hate that, like, gets fires at a random enemy and it picks somebody all the way the fuck off screen. Like, you see, like, 6 random enemies right in front of me. I know you said random, but fuck off. Like, ugh. Ooh. Red crystal. Give to Zim. Wow, that was enough to get 2 levels, dang. Hey, Aria! Yeah, I switched to Vampire Survivors because I just got it and I wanted to give myself hard mode while we were talking about tabletop RPGs. I lightly pontificated about what a Castlevania game would be like. I would love to play the Arcane tabletop RPG. Um, what other IPs do I feel like would make a good RPG? Ooh, I feel like Infamous could be a good one. Hades? I played the hell out of an Infamous tabletop RPG. Fun fact, at one point, and I still might do it, I wanted to run a game of Scion where you were all of the NPCs, like the other souls in hell that were not NPCs in Hades. And it was basically you guys running around in the background doing shit to help Zagreus. Like, I imagine it would only be like a little like short series of games, but I thought it would be hilarious, honestly. Ooh, a Bastion game running Play Calamity. I had an idea to run a Transistor game for what the city was like before the process showed up. You could make a really interesting intrigue game with the society that the player characters came from Empire. Or you could do like, who are the people who are not running around playing Magic 3-on-3 basketball? Um, but I answered all the questions. I will probably post this on YouTube, honestly. Um, shit. They're trying to get my ass. Okay. God, they're all right there. Please. I need some AoE. Let me level up again. I should have picked the Santa water upgrade. I can't do this. Yay. Floor chicken. Um. Is there a Witcher RPG? I feel like if there isn't one, somebody lost money. Like, that feels like a pretty easy sell. Uh. I should be able to fit between the gravestones. That's a unholy sentence. Lord, forgive me for the things I say while playing these damn video games. Nice. There is a Witcher tabletop RPG. Thank you. 10% faster. We are booking it. Of course, there's the fucking special box back this way. Come on, Orange Jesus, give me a good box. It's because I asked for it. Oh wait, I forgot the hot takes, which I mostly got out already, I think, answering other questions. I try to rotate through classes when I play games, and I feel like everybody should play a martial class and a spellcaster at least once. I think if you want to play, not racism in a game so bad, you have to play one of the people who would be prejudiced against. So, you know. And not in the fun, I'm a revolutionary hero way. No, I want them to be absolute dickheads to you since you want to be in this world so bad. Like, that's so mean. Like, oh, you want to live in a world with fantasy racism? You can only be oppressed. Like, like there's a D&D horror stories like Reddit like account that I follow on TikTok, and some of them people are wild. And the worst part about it is, I know people are like, oh, they did a Reddit, they made it up for Reddit, and I'm like, you have no idea how weird some people are. I believe these, because some of them are so specific. And it's always like specific in a particular way too. Like people not getting +2 no allies detected. Like one I remember listening to where like the dude got mad that like the girl in the party didn't want to like roleplay being trafficked, and it's just like, what? Because like she got kidnapped by the bad guys. It's just like, just save me. Like, the fuck? Like, people are so weird. Combat in RPGs, is it an aspect you enjoy, or is it less interesting than narrative stuff? So combat is weird for me, because, like, sometimes my brain decides we can't do anything with numbers, so sorry. The stars are not aligned, can't do it today. And then sometimes, when I, like, really understand my character's kit, I can start getting funky with it. Be doing the cha-cha slide on folks. But I think a game exists where I will inherently enjoy doing combat, but I haven't found one yet that I'm like, oh, I want to fight. You know what I mean? I think the closest that came was actually one of the games I played for, the indie game month over at the Pocket Dragon Pub, which was called Noctis Labyrinth, which was wild. Because spellcasters in that game can only cast magic with the assistance of spirits. And you use a magic drug to help you do it. And you only have so many uses a day, directly correlating to your level. You can take more, but then you have effects. So, and I find that interesting. Like, I'm not always interested in combat for combat's sake, but I always am fascinated by like the effects of combat. I was in a crossover World of Darkness game where I played a Bubasti, which is a werecat. And she ended up in a fight with a Black Spiral Dancer, which is an evil werewolf. And he did so much damage to her that, basically my GM was like, let's roll a percentile. And if you get like 97, 98, or 99, you'll live. And we got a 98. So, basically he did so much ag that her body freaked out and healed it immediately. And it was like a end of the world type game. It was really interesting. I liked that game. But, it was a lot of fun. Like, it was purely a, like, let's go gambling kind of thing, too. Like, it sounds like it was. And then, like, the wildest thing is he had been seeding a thing the entire chronicle, which was, said evil werewolf was stalking me. And, like, being kind of weird and a little gross. With consent. Like, consent on my behalf as a player, not in character. Anyway. Like, he was a villain doing villainy things, but it wasn't like salacious or overboard, so we'll allow it. He was specifically targeting me last because as a human, he was human-born, and he'd always been afraid of cats. So, literally, I was the last kind of shifter that basically he was stealing like the forms of other shifters. So symbolically, he targeted me last so I could be the last shape he got. And you can get different abilities as a were animal. And one of the ones I ended up picking up completely randomly was a thing called cat fear. Which basically meant if I freaked out at him the way a cat would, like, you know, hissing, bare teeth, claws, it had a chance to, basically psychologically trump, like, it basically was like a fear effect in, like, a D&D game or something or whatever. But because he had a phobia, basically watching this specific cat shifter that he was like, oh, I'm gonna get you last and it'll be symbolic, get thrown into a wall of spikes, then get up and, like, hiss at him in such a way to, like, that, like, storybook way that, like, oh, black cats are omen of death type shit. He freaked out so bad that he started compulsively shapeshifting so he couldn't control his form anymore. Like, just pure instinctual, I need to fight! It was really funny, actually. But, like, stuff like that. Like, I like combat with stakes. it was fun. Uh, like, I would love to get in the game and have like a duel with someone for a reason. Um, but also you find out interesting things about your character sometimes. Um, I have a couple of TikToks based off of playing my. I had an artificer gunslinger named Tally Fulbright, and her special weapon was her gun. That was her baby. I forgot what I named it, but basically, she. There was an audio going around on where it was basically one night this group of dudes comes in and starts harassing my friend the bartender at the tavern that we're all like is like the watering hole in town. And there's a point where she just like comes in, makes the stealth check, slides up next to the dude leading the group, and just puts her gun like right here. It's just like we're not doing this today. I'm gonna need you to expeditiously stop whatever fuck shit you're doing. I said it more country and slightly more eloquent than that. Think more less cursing Deadwood. But, fun fact, when I did, Star Wars stage fighting, in the first group I was in, there was a dude who called me Deadwood for my predilection towards using $5 words and fuck within syllables of each other. But yeah, but Tally, the audio I ended up using on TikTok was, I know that violence isn't the answer, but yes it is. Which was kind of Tally at a certain point, when she was sick of everyone's bullshit. She was the straight man to a lot of shenanigans that kept happening. I don't know if we managed to get the episode on video, but one of our party members ended up communing with a statue that ended up possessing him, and riding his body to the surface, because she was underwater in a tower. So, clearly the thing was... And, like, you can see me in full frame doing like this. And practically screaming out of character. Just like, no! What are you doing? Like, fantastic role-playing choices, but no! But yeah, I am now. I'm like running through different games and moments, there is a friend of mine. I don't know if he's here. Alright, is Judy here? Is he listening? He set me up. He set me up in this goddamn game. We're setting up and we're playing Scion and he's opting to run. And we're making our characters and I want to make Daughter of Segment. And this motherfucker asked me, do you have any siblings? And consigned my soul to hell. Like... Like, I love Bason, like... I think if I had to play her now, I would correct the accidental combat, partly because the NPC was made for me, but also, I was working through some shit. I think I actually played Bason before I was out. So, you know, I had some things to work out about, like, you know, relationships and obligation and whatnot. Poor Bason, whose actual attraction vector was capacity for violence, and didn't really have much to do with gender at all, actually. She, humorously, I think either the first or second session, she's like introduced to her party member Ainit, who was a daughter of Bridget, and there was a point where Ciaran, the one of the main NPCs that was like helping them, he was a prick. He ends up in a fight and he ends up covered in blood and Bason's just having like a nervous breakdown about it. And at first everyone's like, are you like opposed to violence? Because she's like an observant Muslim. But so then she's like, no, you don't understand. I should not be like this. And it's just like, what, lusting after a random man? No. After a couple more, like, evasively answered question, Ainit just goes, oh, you're a lesbian. Just, shh. Like she's gonna get in trouble. How many full campaigns, have you been in that came to a conclusion as opposed to ending due to real world stuff? I ran one and I was in a D&D one. Joker, one of my Ausla, friend of the channel, was in the first Scion game I ever ran, where I, like, made up powers for people on the spot and did a bunch of bullshit. And that game happened while I was deeply unemployed. We played every week just about for I think it was 3 or 4 months. Like, we went through a whole bunch of arcs. We got power-ups and all kinds of shit. You ran 2, both for Scion? That finished? Cause I remember the one that was like you, me, my roommate at the time, her situationship, and oh, Lock and Han. Yeah. I forgot we finished Han's game. But and then a friend of mine, he used to stream. I don't know if he does anymore, but he went by Rotbot online. He had a D&D game that was heavily inspired by Dragon Quest. That was where Noble comes from. And that was the game that I had that I was in as a player that reached its conclusion. Oh, actually, there was technically a third game. My friend made a homebrew system to run a Skies of Arcadia game, which I loved. That ended up reaching its conclusion. I think that's a game that, like, if I put energy into, like, hardcore learning another system, or, like, trying to figure out one, I think I would like to run Skies of Arcadia. I love that damn game. Like, I can't believe the work she put into that system. Like, we would have patch notes sometimes. This shit was wild. But, I also just like to have really funny, if occasionally dumb moments. Not necessarily dumb in that they're irrelevant, but just like, goddamn, really? That kind of dumb. Once, the party of, Locke was a son of Loki, and they had met a young woman who was the daughter of the Monkey King, and she had, like, basically a fossilized peach pit on a necklace that she had, and it was basically, she understood it as a brick glass in case of emergency kind of thing. So I forgot what led up to this, but so the party is in with this other band, this NPC band, and they're in 3 separate floors of, like, a duplex. Like, some folks are on the first floor, some folks are on the second floor, some folks are on the third floor. So, they're in a tight spot. I think they're trying to figure out information for, like, some kind of thing. And because their backs are against the wall, they get the grand idea to crack the peach pit. And, I then described, I think my exact sentence was, everyone in the house gets kicked in the chest simultaneously. And one of the players who was on the 3rd floor when this was happening on the 1st floor was just like, oh, I'm fine. No, I said everyone in the house. And they're like, what? And in a plume of, like, smoke that smelled like peach incense, there stood the Monkey King looking ready to whoop everyone's ass. And they managed to talk him down because, I couldn't think of a better Chinese name at the time, so I was cribbing names from all sorts of fiction. Her name was Xiao Yu. But I like to do stuff like that. Like, kinda silly, makes a point. I think Joker and somebody else, when I described what happened, put it together immediately that God had entered, because they were like, everyone in the house gets the... Oh no! Then there was the aggression that Locke faced every time he met an Acer, either Scion or I think he met Vidar once, who was the newest of the Acer gods in the old canon. And every time they just punched him in the chest. Like, they just would punch him because his dad was who his dad was. And basically assume that he did something to deserve it. They just didn't know about it yet. This is also, Locke is also the same character who, managed to, end up falling into the River Styx and got fished out by the back of his collar, so, he ended up, being invulnerable to everything and getting a custom piece of armor from one of their NPC friends, to hide his sole weak point. Which was also hilarious. They played baseball and used him as the ball. If y'all don't give me a goddamn floor chicken soon, I think one of my favorite independently spawning powers was we had a son of Ares who was active military. So I gave him a power called Ermi's Voice, named after R. Lee Ermey, aka that one drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket. Him. So basically, and he had to do it in character, if he could, for as long as he maintained shouting orders at anyone who was lower authority than him, they would obey him immediately. Which ended up being really funny because they ended up being overseas at one point. I think they were like in Italy or something. And he was like, will this work on them if they don't understand English? And I looked at him. And he's like, what does the power say? As long as you can maintain... Have to slip away and get ready for bed because it's fun. Thank you for stopping by, Larry. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate your time. Rest well. Thank you for stopping through. I hope you have a good night and a good weekend and all that good stuff. Take care. Thank you. Gonna smoke bomb out too. Alright, thanks for stopping by extra. What time is it? Oh wow, it's 11. I've been going for 4 hours. No, 3 hours. I can do math. Shit. I set my stuff up at 7, so I was ready for 8. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for questions. Thank you for the commentary. I now need to play Cyborg though, because I like that. And I need to play Fabula Ultima. That's what I need to play. I need to play 10 Candles, Daggerheart, Fabula Ultima. Also, I think I'm gonna call it after either this run or the next one, but I am very much a fandom tropes color my interaction with tabletop RPGs. So we had like ship names for like the PCs and NPCs who got together. Um, there's a group of friends of mine that I play Monster Hearts with pretty regularly, and we jokingly have in the Discord for each game. It's like the game chat, the in-character text chat, and then the next text chat is like the fandom's reaction to the show, because the conceit of like the way I heard Monster Hearts explained to me was like it was like CW, the role-playing game. So like I took the TV fandom thing and ran with it. One character had excessively bad dice rolls one night, and we were like, damn, the writers are being mean this season. Like, and part of me is like, I enjoy that stuff, but like, if you're not gonna be like fans of your own game, why are you playing, you know? I need floor chicken. I will say, of like all the big like D&D shows that are running, I think I might go back, and I love seeing my friends do cool, clever shit. It's so good. I might go back and watch season 2 of Critical Role. I think that's the Mighty Nine. Cause like I am so enamored of the fact that the in-character romance that happened between Fjord and Jester happened because basically it was like either like a bet, or like he said that she wouldn't be able to romance him, and she was like, alright, I'll take that bet. So, you know, these two people who love each other and are super married end up like effectively falling in love again, and it's so sweet. And like they did like a thing for the live show where they got up in like full cosplay as their characters and like got married again, and it's just like, oh, like I love shit like that, man. Like I don't tell anyone I'm a sap. Like seeing the end of that story makes me want to go back and see what the rest of the through line was. Also, from what I understand, Travis and Laura getting together happened because he was a fan of her acting, and then he was like going out for something at Funimation and found out that like she was involved with the show there, and he was like, I gotta lock in, basically, and was like, so he needed to be there. Not like the weird parasocial way, but because like actors in the same circle kind of way. Also, I'm super annoyed that, like, the dude who ended up running the behind the sheets or whatever the little background show for the first Crit Roll season was, ended up being, like, a fucking dickhead, because they took all of the stuff down so he wouldn't be associated with them anymore, because he was awful. But they did an episode with Mercer where he went over his past, and, like, a friend of mine sent it to me, because I have some sensitivities about my voice and my speech patterns, particularly that, I stutter. I'm pretty damn good at covering it now, but if I get worked up or frustrated, it comes right on back out. And I don't know, it's embarrassing. And my friend sent me the episode where Mercer talks about having a stutter and working around that as an actor. And it was really nice. And now it's not accessible to anyone on the internet because the dude who fucking ran the show was a dickhead. I hate men sometimes. Do I hate all men? No, but I hate the ones that are dickheads. If you think I'm talking about you, I am. Not even dickheads. Like, there can be affection in the statement of calling someone a dickhead. Like, fucking ball bag. No, get what Bodega Boy's on. Like, fucking nat 1 of him human. There you go. And it's even in a vector he'll understand. Like, just like these nat ones of humanity. Like, listen. Like, go away. You know, as I think about it, and I think this will be like my last tabletop RPG, I always find it interesting when people have boundaries, but also work within them in very particular ways. I have a rule, personally. When I play Pretendy Fun Time games, I don't want to deal with real life isms. Like, at all. Not even a little bit. There is a caveat to that rule. If you make a character, like there's an NPC that is like that, at me, or my character, or anyone in the party that my character cares about, I get to kill them. This is not a discussion. Got to die of a person. You get it. But like, I am not necessarily a pay evil into evil person in real life, but in fiction? Like, in the real world, there has to be pathways back to society for people who break the social contract or whatever. I don't work in restorative justice, because I don't have the temperament for it. But I understand that, you know, we're human beings trying to have a goddamn decent society, so, you know, we need to have that. But if I'm gonna be in my superpowered pretendy fine time game and somebody decides they want to call me a fantasy slur, pony up that ass to the bar. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And it's so funny because people kind of have like a oh reaction to that, which always fascinates me. And I'm like, listen, man, sometimes the power fantasy is getting to destroy the people that hurt us. I don't know what to tell you. Um, Not for nothing, but we got a clip out of this. I might clip some of it later. Um, but one thing I wish that TikTok would let us do instead of going on to like a random ass other platform to have to do it is I wish we could schedule TikToks. Like if I transfer the clip over from here, I can set it so it goes up at X time. I would love that. That would be great. That way I can do a whole bunch of bulk editing and stuff like that, and I don't have to use a service that I have to pay money for and give my credentials to fucking allow them to access my goddamn stuff, but whatever. I like the little squiggles of power. Yay! Now we're starting to get the number go up. That's what I'm into. Give me all the power-ups. I can't think of anything else to talk about. So I think after this run ends, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. Unless y'all got a question. Or something you want me to ramble about. Ah! Shit. Oh. Give me the goddamn chicken. Christ. Thank you. Yeah, chicken. Give me more bats. I don't need this shit. Skeletons do, I guess. Come on. More chicken. Thank you. Here we go for chicken. Should we give me something good? Or garlic. I was going to say a sentence out loud, but I know better, so I'm not going to say it. I just had the thought. Now I'm curious about the sentence. No, it was just one of the don't say it because then everything will get worse kind of thing. We're getting to the silly bit of Vampire Survivors. There's a point if you get the right loadout, you just start doing shit like this. Where you walk around in a circle. And just start leveling up. Of course something died back there. God damn it. Hey, purple box. Where you become a Doom Roomba. Yeah. Damn it. I couldn't squeeze by him. Oh well. Well, that's it for that. Alrighty. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by, asking me tabletop RPG questions, letting me yap. This is the last official stream of this year. Woo! To that effect, I hope everyone has an excellent holiday and you have lots of nice time with your family and tasty food. I am probably going to be posting things online, but my first official stream will be back in January. Keep posted on a whole bunch of stuff everywhere, so that way, you know where I be. If you want to hop in the Discord, there is, if you're not already in there. I'm everywhere on everything is Neon Saline except for Blue Sky, where I'm neonsaline.com. Make sure you check out all the folks I shouted out over the course of the stream. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about it. Be prepared for more tabletop RPG content from me in the future, including actual plays, more of this yap style type of thing, maybe some actual discussions about like character building or something. I don't know, man. And maybe a little bit of writing. I've been working on a project. It's proving more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but yeah. Here we are. I hope you all have a lovely evening, a lovely holiday, a lovely weekend. Reverse that order. The weekend comes before the holiday. And is there anyone we can drop off to? I think I'm just gonna let it ride. So, I'll see you folks in the new year. Peace out. Take care of each other. All that good stuff. Peace.